All right, it's time. It really is time. I have all of these palettes that I've been trying out. I've been testing them out, off camera. I did videos on them. So you already know it's time for a palette wrap up, palette ranking. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome on back to my channel. So yes, I've been missing in action. I'm so sorry. I still love YouTube, but my time has not been of my friend. So I'm really trying to do better with filming, but I'm sorry y'all. But before I get started, let me go ahead and introduce myself. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. And if you're oldie but goodie, welcome on back. My name is Ashley. I have a doctorate in pharmacy and I love makeup. So that's how you get Dr. Ash and her makeup. Now, I have all these palettes. How many palettes do I have? I have a stack. Ooh, the pre-orders came in. So let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I got 8 palettes. So that's like a healthy little stack for me to talk about. It's time to rank them. And me ranking them is a way of just saying, how I like them, an easy way for me to organize them, present them to you. And these are actually meant as a follow-up. So basically I have done a video for these. I usually do 3 looks on any given palette on my channel. Sometimes 5 is this a nice amount of shades. And, then I like to go ahead and give myself a time to just play with the palettes because, you do your first impressions, but maybe it's great. Maybe you liked it. Then you realize once you start playing with it off camera, like, hey, this isn't as great as I thought it was. Or maybe it could be the opposite. Maybe you didn't really like it when you did your first impression, but now I do like it. So, it's just basically a full roundup, a full review of how I like these palettes. Now, the ranking idea is not new. Kelsey Brianna J is the one who really just kind of put the rankings out there. Now, I want to go ahead and jump in, and really, I like all of these palettes. I don't have a dud. So kind of organizing them was a little problematic because, when I like palettes, I'm like, I don't know which ones to put, especially the ones in the middle, but I do have like my top contenders. Unfortunately, when we get to the top contender, there is some drama associated with this brand. Okay, yikes. Anywho, let's go ahead, jump in with number 8. So number 8, I feel some type of way about putting this palette here, but I do like this palette. And I purchased their newest palette, which is the Lily palette, so I'm talking about Klarity Kosmetics because I did not say it. But right here, I have the Evil Mermaid palette. Now, this palette is actually really gorgeous. As you can see, you have the outer packaging. It's got the deep sea underwater theme. You got the little skulls for the Evil Mermaid. It comes with a beautiful little slip or sleeve to just put over the palette, and you do have some of the ingredients if you're wondering, because sometimes I do find with indie brands that you'll miss that component. Like maybe they'll put it on their website, maybe they'll put it on part of the palette, but you might not have it on the main part of the palette, but right here. So Klarity Kosmetics is a Black woman indie brand. So I have had fun trying out their things. Last year I tried the brand out. I wasn't so impressed. I decided to go back, give them another try, and I'm glad that I did. So this is technically like my 3rd palette by them. I have the So Mesmerizing palette. That was like a beautiful, just really seashell theme and palette, pastel palette. This one is like the little evil twin sister. And then I did get the Bloom palette, and now I have the Lily palette on the way. Now, what I do like about this palette is that we have smaller pan sizes. Thank God. If you are familiar with Klarity Kosmetics, they give you the big old round pans, and I can't. It's a lot of eyeshadow. It's overwhelmed me. Like, why do I need that much shadow? And 9 times out of 10, if you are familiar with indie brands like this, smaller indie brands, you are usually in tune with the makeup community. You have maybe a larger makeup collection, and it's just a lot of shadow. Either way, it's a lot of shadow, and it makes the price point higher. So, this palette, I want to say it was about $25. So I do really like that price point. And I was actually able to pay for it with like my credit card points because they took Amazon Pay, and Amazon, they'll have you like your American Express points and everything like that. So palette didn't cost me anything but like maybe $3, So the formula on this palette, fabulous. So I kind of feel some way about putting it in the bottom, but the reason why it's in the bottom, because the matte choices here and here and here and here, they're like all the same. It's just no matter how you wrap it, no matter what shade of green, in a 9-pan palette, these are all the same. They look pretty much the same. This shade, I thought it was going to be a little bit more murkier on the eyes. It showed up nice, but you cannot use these mattes together and think that you're going to get any definition of color, any separation of color. They kind of just look like one big thing. So I did not like that. This particular shimmer and this particular shimmer, they both are very similar. So although the color scheme of this palette is gorgeous, that's why I put it in the bottom, because you're getting essentially almost the same look unless you're trying hard. But then you have, you know, all these shades that you're neglecting. But this matte is beautiful. The formula is very nice. It's very blendable. It's very pigmented, of course. It just has the right texture with the mattes. They're not powdery. They're not stiff, but they're not flaky and all over the place. They just really get the job done nicely. The shimmers are really great in this formula too. So when I tried the Bloom palette, those shimmeries were nice, but they were kind of squishy. They dipped in, you know, when you put your finger in the palette and the shade is like moving all over the place, flaky. You kind of had to do a lot to manipulate it to put on your eyes. So it was one of my favorite shades in that palette that I was just like, I love this shade, but it did not look good unless, you know, you put very minimum amount down. It did not look good by itself because it was giving a lot of texture. But this formula, you're not getting any of that at all. It is really nice formula, really quality. Did not have to use any special methods to apply these shadows to the eye at all. So I really do appreciate that. And the formula is really fantastic. It's just, like I said, the shades are just too close together. And I really just don't like when brands do that. It's just like, let's stop. I know where you're going, but by the time you take into account other people's skin complexions, and it just doesn't work, especially if you're on the deeper end of the spectrum. Like, everything is just going to look the same. Now, coming in at number 7, I didn't know where to put this either. I really enjoy this palette, but it came in at number 7, and this is an all shimmer palette. This is by Drizzle Kosmetics, and this is the MILF palette. Man, I love Frogs palette. This palette sold out quickly. It was kind of like, you know, the colors drew me in. You know, I love me some Barney shades. You know, I'm about the purple. You know, I'm about the greens. Love those things for sure. But, you know, I don't know. So you have some multi-chromes in here that traditionally, yes, you will find in pretty much any array of multi-chromes. Like, okay, yes, I see a shade like this, especially when it comes to shades like Hop Along, but I do appreciate in this palette shades that come like this, that's called MILF, or even like Fly Swatter. Those particular shades, yes, you will find. But for some, it's these shades right in here. You have a lot of different formulas in this particular palette. Very nice quality, wore it to work, lasts all day, didn't have a problem with longevity. I could wear glitter glue with it if I felt like it. Sometimes I did not wear glitter glue and it held up just as well. And then some of the shades are just unique. So my shade in here is the shade Pond. I think that shade is just simply stunning. You have some beautiful silky shades in here. You have some shades that are more of the regular metallic formula that we're pretty much used to. And then you do have quite a bit of multi-chromes. And I'm just loving multi-chromes right now. Do you see my eyes? I'm all about the multi-chromes right now. I'm enjoying them. They look like you have put so much effort into your eyeshadow look, but really you don't. You know what I mean? So that is number 7. I think the quality is great. Now the price point is a little bit higher. I would say the price point is higher because it's just all shimmer. You're getting a quality formula. Now she did have a mishap with the manufacturer where they overfilled the wells of the palette, where you actually got some leakage, meaning that, you know, there was some oil seeping out into the cardboard. So like right here, you would see that. You don't see it in my particular palette, but it would come out right here. So she actually sold those palettes at half price. And I wanted one of those palettes. I was like, ain't nothing wrong with those shadows. I want that. You know what I mean? But that sold out super quickly. So, but I really do enjoy the Sugar Drizzle formula quite a bit. Now, coming in at number 6. Are we at 6? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're at 6, okay? So this one, instantly when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I love it. And I've talked about the first one so much, and I was just like, this is literally like all I ever wanted. Hence, we have All I Ever Wanted 2 coming in at number 6, okay? And this is an all shimmer formula as well, and really pretty. But I enjoy this color story, and I ranked this over this because you're going to get more options when it comes to creating look, because this one is just green and purple, where this one you have an assortment of colors. Now, the formula is really nice. I think in the beginning, some people were saying the formula was not that great. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm swatching these. Like, yeah, I just swatched it. I hadn't put it on my eyes yet, but you know, this is great. And then before I did a video, I actually wore a few of the shades to work. Didn't have any problem. Y'all know I work long hours. I'll put my makeup on and be gone all day long. And everything came out great. So this one, opposed to the first one, we definitely have more golds. We have more purples and probably some more blues in this particular one. Now, I would say, if you have any sizable makeup collection, you're going to have some dupes, okay? I also would say that even across the first All I Ever Wanted palette, you have quite a bit of dupes, okay? It's just like the shades. You know, yes, there's a difference between the shades, but technically there isn't a difference. So like I was just mentioning with the, you know, Evil Mermaid palette, when you put these shades on your eye, even though they have the small shifts or whatever, you know, it doesn't translate on the eye, so there's no difference. But I would say that sometimes the shifts does make a difference, especially maybe on your complexion and which one that you actually like for yourself. So there is importance when it comes to these shifts, but you're just not going to really notice that it's a difference in the shade. You might have your personal preference of which shade you would prefer to wear. Now, what I do think I like about this palette more, I think I actually like the formula of this palette more. I think it's more opulent, and the shades are not hardly pressed. I know in the first particular palette, the top row, those shades to me seem they are a little bit hard pressed, a little bit hard to get out the pan, a little bit harder to apply. You definitely need to use a finger. Now these particular shades, I feel like you can use your finger, you could use a brush. I definitely think that you need to wet them. Some of them are more flaky, like this particular shade, definitely more flaky. This one is very smooth. You have a wide variety of formulas in here, and I do appreciate that a lot. So I have been having fun with this palette. The longevity has still been great with it, but I do think overall I appreciate this formula better because I do have some shades that are similar that are in the first All I Ever Wanted palette, and I prefer the dupes I have of those shades in other palettes versus the first All I Ever Wanted palette. But this one is gorgeous. I think it was, at first it was getting a bad rap, but when I played with it, I was like, what are people talking about? This is great, you know? So coming in at number 5, this is a brand I had not tried it before, but I really enjoy their shadows. And I have one more palette that I need to go ahead and do some looks for with you guys, which is the Indigo Ink palette. So I'm talking about Menagerie Cosmetics. This is the Sugar High palette. So this palette released like around the end of April, beginning of May. And I actually got the Best Buds Glow Blush with it. I can't ever get it out. Best Buds Glow Blush. Ooh, that's a lot. So I actually put that blush in my favorites video that just launched right before this one. And this palette is just beautiful. You know, it is gorgeous quality, and these shimmers are just so smooth. I mean, if you have a textured eyelid, I think these shimmers will look absolutely stunning on you because they look wet, they appear smooth on your eyelids, the color choices are bold. You don't have to do anything. So yes, these are not like maybe super sparkly multi-chromes that I have on at the moment, but you get some quality shimmers here, and I think that the color story is absolutely beautiful. The mattes are really pretty in this palette, but I would say that the mattes are just a tiny bit thin for my liking in this palette. I think that they can have a little bit more consistency and show up on the eyes a little bit greater than they do in this particular palette. I also say that I wish there was something a little bit more that I could deepen with, but you do have this as an option and this as an option to just kind of balance out your looks and to create something different. Or, you know, you can always dip into another palette and get some, you know, brown or whatever you want to do. But, you know, that's that. And then, ooh, okay, so these next two palettes, these two palettes, I like, when they arrived, I had an attitude, honey. I was like, this has just been the weight of the weight, and these palettes redeemed themselves, okay? So once I got out of my little funky mood about the palettes, I was able to step back and have, you know, some good thoughts about it, create some good looks, because sometimes, like, you know, if your mood is off when you're dealing with a palette, it's like you're gonna get crap. It's just like anything in life, you know? So coming in at number 4, I would say the Glaminatrix Cosmetics Sandra Rose palette. Now, this is a pre-order that I ordered back in October of 2021, and it said that it would be available maybe around February of 22. So I knew it was going to be a long pre-order before, but then I didn't even get it until May. And I was just like, ooh, took me out. It took me out. But this is the color story, and I thought that this was so beautiful. Now, this palette was actually re-released because it was released quite a few years ago. It is the mini, so the shadows are a little bit smaller. But the color combinations that you can get from this palette are just absolutely stunning. You have so many different options. You do have a beautiful multi-chrome called Bloom that is in this palette. I think it's actually reformulated from its original version. And then you have the different mattes. You have all these different colors. You have a nice silver. The shimmers are nice. You can blend them well, cross, dip. You know, you can get a lot of different color combinations. You do monochromatic looks. You have this beautiful purple to deepen up looks, or you can go in with this, you know, navy blue. I do appreciate that. They tend to kind of put navy blues in their palettes, and I like that because that is not a color that you normally come across, especially to deepen an eye look up with. Usually it's a dark brown, or it's a black, or it's a berry tone, and I love berry tones, but there's something about a navy blue. It's like, ooh, yes. So beautiful tones. I think the only thing I wish was that the shade Nectar, which is this purple tone, is actually, I wish it was just a little bit darker, but purples can be very hard to formulate. Now, as far as shipping time was actually pretty good on this palette. They use like the Australian version of the post office, so usually about 2.5 to 3 weeks to get your palette. It was just that the problem was that the palette was on a strong pre-order. Now, this palette was breaking on people. My palette got here okay, but the palette I'll show you next did not. But I really enjoy their quality. I enjoy their color story. So I think that this is something that's worth it. And I don't think that most people realize, yes, they're a little bit more expensive, but a lot of times she puts her prices in Australian dollars, and I don't think people realize that, you know, when they do the conversion, it's much cheaper in US dollars, because the palette that I just got, the Nearly Neutral palette, I think it was 90 AUD. And I think I missed that part too for like a hot second. Now I remembered, I was like, oh no, with the conversion, that's like $45 USD. And then with the shipping is pretty pricey because it's out of Australia. It was $20. So the palette ended up being like 60 something dollars, which I was comfortable with in total, versus not like 120. So just keep that in mind when you order from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. Usually it is more of a, you know, a pre-order situation. These pre-orders are tough, but I get it because these are smaller brands, and you know, it takes a lot of capital to put these products out, and sometimes they need the money on the front end to kind of just make it work. But hopefully when the brand grows, she can just have things on stock or in stock, and you know, you can just order and get your product. Now, coming in at number 3, it will be from the same brand, Super Attitude. Been stocking this palette ever since she's been, you know, releasing it. And sometimes that's the fun in the indie branding, but sometimes that's the stuff that just kills you, because they will drag out and sneak peek, and you're like, yes, and you're so excited, and then it's finally time to order it, and then This took forever too. Now she does keep you posted and everything like that, so I did appreciate that, but it's just like sometimes it's just like, honey, your patience is tested, and that's how I felt when it came to these two products. But the makeup inside of it is great. So if you want to try this brand, I think you should, you know. Now, I like how their packaging is. It's very sleek. A lot of people would say, yes, does it remind you of Adept Cosmetics? Yes, but I think it's great when brands kind of switch up their look. You know, her other palettes that I have by her have usually been in a cardboard. But this color story is absolutely gorgeous. I'm actually wearing the mattes from this particular palette today. I have two palettes that I'm wearing. So, but the plum shade that you see right here is actually from this palette. Now, this palette did come broken. So yeah, it was a mess when I received it. Now, like I said, the makeup is great now, but the shades in here, they came shattered, so she had to reformulate, and I had to go ahead and just pop the shades in, which was actually really easy. I actually did a video on me just showing how to pop these shades in, and since the palette is magnetized, that wasn't an issue at all. Now, I haven't used the new shimmer shades, so I'm not sure how great they are, so I do apologize for that. The only shade that was not broken was the shade Luna, because I was just like, wait, why is it so messy? But Luna was not broken, and that's one of the stars of the show. But the color story of this palette is just like 10 out of 10. It does sometimes give me like Mothership 3 Subversive vibes. I don't know, maybe it's the purple and the green and the black. Maybe. But you know, I think that this palette is just so beautiful, and I'm actually like, it has great longevity, so I did really enjoy the looks that I got from this palette. All right, so the palette that I have on my eyes in conjunction with the Nocturnal palette is number 2. So this is the Adept Cosmetics House of Ill palette. And I just put this at number 2 because like I said, I'm all about the multi-chromes right now, and there's plenty of multi-chromes, plenty of very shimmery, sparkly, interesting shades that we haven't really seen before, or at least I don't have in my collection. You know, they have 3 mattes in here. Adept has been kind of like one of the originators of the all shimmer palette craze. So, but this shade right here, and I have it, oh my god, it is perfect. And on my skin complexion, it is just everything. It is just like the perfect mix of bronze and gold and fiery coppery orange with a tiny shift of green. And then I went ahead and put this beautiful rose gold shade on my eyes along with it that you see here. And then, oh, for the inner corner, I did actually pop into All I Ever Wanted. So let's see. I popped into All I Ever Wanted, and I used this particular shade right here, which is yellow, and it kind of shifts more pinky purple. So I think it's like, these shades are so nice. It is such a summer color story. The blues, the pinks, the purples, the matte choices right here. I would say that, you know, you don't have anything to really deepen it, but you could do the turquoise, but the mattes go nice. So I started with this as a transition, and I went in with the burgundy, and then I popped in with the orange, and that what kind of gave it a little bit more warmth. But of course, the star of the show are these beautiful, beautiful multi-chromes. And this is the same great Adept formula. Lots of slip, lots of shine. I did use a glitter glue with these particular shades, and I do kind of recommend that with the Adept formula, but I don't mind doing that. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous shades. Like this eye look. It's like I wanted something neutral, but I wanted something that was neutral, but not just like, oh, she got on gold eyeshadow. You know what I mean? Now, number 1, I really like this palette. And I got the palette, and I was just like, I am blown away with the formula, the color story, 10 out of 10. I am really feeling this, and this creator did a great job. Now, the shame in it comes because this particular brand got into it with a creator, did some not nice things. I don't know the full story, so don't mark my words. But here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing, okay? So, especially with these smaller brands, you know, these are smaller brands. These are women really trying to make it, and I'm making no excuses for it. But I'm just telling, like, I'm seeing all sides of the story, okay? So these are women trying to make it, and they take their stuff personal. But yet, at the same time, this is still a business. You have to watch how you treat your customers. You have to watch how you treat the creators. And some creators are just entitled. And I'm not talking about this person because I really don't know all that happened. But you know, as business owners, sometimes you have to take a step back. You know, it's not cool to be popping off at people. And the same thing kind of happened with Adept Cosmetics, and they have corrected their ways, or, you know, made that situation correct and posted the apology and left it there for people to see, and, you know, corrected the issues that that person had, where it's with, you know, the website wasn't friendly for people who were disabled. But yeah, like, you do yourself a disservice when you start popping off at the mouth. It's just got to be a better way to handle it. So, you know, and I get it, because I work with people all day, every day, and even though I'm in healthcare, I'm still in customer service to a degree. I work with the public. I'm the manager, so I get it. Like, you have to be able to govern yourself and know what to say and how to say things. Because sometimes it's not what you say, it's just how you say it. And you end up killing something that you worked so hard for. But this would be the Saint Angels and Sinners Cosmetics and Sminkberoende collab. Now, Sminkberoende is somebody I just started following, and she is cold with it. Like, I mean, the intricacy of her work, the beautiful eyeshadow looks that she comes up with are just like 10 out of 10. So I am familiar with her work now, but she created this beautiful palette. And I mean, it is just gorgeous. I have so much fun playing with this palette, and I almost started to wear it again today, you know, but I was like, I'm not. But oh my gosh, the color story is amazing. And even though I would normally talk about how this, and this kind of play the same, they don't look the same. They actually look different. You can see the color progression when it comes to those three purple shades. And then you have this brighter purple. So you have something to definitely deepen the look. So we're going very deep. We're moderately deep. And this one is more red base, one is more purple base, and then you have more of the mauve shade. You got your more pinky purple lilac, and it plays well with this. You got your oranges, you got your greens, you got your green. And then we have this little baby right here. This little baby, she's interesting. She's blue, she's not quite blue. She got a little gray in her. It's just pretty. It's just a nice matte that you don't usually see in your collection. And the same with this. Some days it's gray on me, some days it's green, and I'm enjoying that because you get a different color variation depending on what type of shimmer you put with it. Now these shimmers, 10 out of 10. These shimmers are beautiful. Like this particular greeny, red, purple situation. And it's not like that blue brown that we always see. This is not that blue brown that we see in, you know, I would say maybe the shade Dragonfly from the Sydney Grace palette, because that is a shade that a lot of people are familiar with, or the old school blue brown from MAC Cosmetics. You know, talk about B stole my look. Like that shade is being reincarnated a billion times. But this is so nice. You have one flaky shade. This shade looks like a glitter, but it is smooth as all get out. This shade is just opulence on your eyes. I really enjoyed this palette. So it's such a shame that it's been so much drama, because even though it was just a collab between them and Glaminatrix girls, but I didn't care for what that palette looked like. So I wasn't planning on picking it up. But now I see that Glaminatrix girls is like, nope, we're not doing it. You want the palette, go talk to them. So it's a shame. Because I think the brand was starting to get a lot of hype, because I started seeing the brand at the beginning of the year and they were doing a lot of shimmer palettes. So I was just kind of cautious. I saw one or two that I liked, but like I said, I have a lot of shimmer palettes at this point. So it has to make sense, you know what I mean? But when I saw this particular palette, I said, oh yeah, getting this. And it's beautiful. It's one of my favorites of the year. I wanted to put in my favorites. I should have put it in my favorites video, but I just didn't, because I guess I didn't feel like talking about the controversy. But you know, I don't really try to shy away from it, you know, issues, I'm gonna let you know it is what it is. But yes, so these are my palettes that I have tried recently. These are beautiful. Whew, I love them all, okay? Now, what do I have upcoming next? I have Primal from Blend Bunny. So you will expect to see a video from me on Primal from Blend Bunny's Cosmetics. I really enjoy their palettes. Also, what else did I pick up? I picked up something else. Oh, I got the Klarity Lily palette. So I am really excited about that color story. And then Mama Pat is coming, Mothership 10. So I really like that palette. I mean, I did not work myself up about the blue greens and all of that stuff, but the way it was presented, I like it. And I'm excited about it. I don't know, I just felt like it would be more jazz about Mothership 10. But, you know, so that's what I have upcoming next, where you can see videos on looks. Nothing has arrived yet. But, you know, I'm going to try to get myself back on track. I think about the next month and a half I should be better. It's a long time in the YouTube world, but I'm gonna try to do better. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so you know when I come out with a video, which will be soon. It's usually real soon, but I'm gonna try to say soon. I'm trying to at least do like one, at least maybe if I can get out 2 videos a week, that would be great. But you know, I would love to have you here, my little makeup family, and I definitely want to grow. So I thank you guys for who have found my channel recently. In the comments, you know, I always try to answer in the comments, and I appreciate everybody who's been riding with me since the very beginning. So you already know what time it is. It is time for the chair dance. Hey, chair dance. Hey, 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 chair dance. Chair dance. Hey, chair dance. Chair dance. Hey. All right, y'all. Bye.